Hi. I don't know where to begin. I'm pansexual and gender fluid. I haven't really been shy about that fact. I don't talk about it that often, but that's who I am. If you watched a video of mine called Dear Dad, which was directed towards my dad because I was nervous to talk to him about this, even though I know he's accepting, it's still. At the time, I was scared to talk to my dad about this, but of course he accepted me because he accepts other family members that are part of the community. You can tell I'm a little nervous, can't you? If you saw that video, you would have already known that I'm, in fact, pansexual and gender fluid. And rather than try explaining it, here are the definitions of those. Alright, you had enough time to read. I've been, for the past month, struggling to make a video. And I feel like this video will be a good video. Also, yes, I can edit again, but that's not the point. I feel like this is the best video to sort of start with making more videos again. Me talking about my experience with my, for lack of a better word, or better words, my experience with my sexual identity and my gender identification. Because I'm going to do a little research, but I'm pretty sure it was way back in 2015 that same-sex marriage, sorry about that, that same-sex marriage was legalized. I'm fairly certain it was way back then. Yeah, June 26th of 2015. During Pride Month, which is kind of beautiful. I'm like looking at myself. I should look at the camera. During Pride Month, way back when, all those 6 years ago, and at the time, I didn't know what I was. I thought I was just a straight male. So, when I heard that, I was obviously very happy for the LGBTQ plus community, but I didn't understand. I didn't know what I was. I was, for a few years then, a little bit confused with my sexuality, because I kept thinking I might like boys, but I wasn't. Well, I say boys, men, other male adults. But I wasn't quite sure, so I just kept flip-flopping between maybe I'm straight, maybe I'm bi, and I have this real confusing thing going on. But at the time, I was like, I'm straight. It's probably just like, I don't know. I was confused. And then I entered a relationship, which that person's dead to me. We don't need to get into that. Sorry again for this. My nose. I don't like to wipe it on camera because that's kind of disgusting. Anyways, as I was in that stupid relationship, I was looking on Facebook groups and people were talking about sexualities and stuff, and someone said pansexual, and I'm like, what's pansexual? And they explained it, and I'm like, okay, that's me. From then on, that just felt right to me. And I accepted it. I loved it. It makes me feel good knowing that. Because at the time I thought maybe I'm just straight, and it's weird that they got a whole guy thing. I don't know. But then that happened, and in this, because I was getting notifications because I was tagged in a comment, because I was like, what's that? They tagged me, oh, this is what it is. Like, oh, okay, that's what I am. And then I kept getting notifications for that post because I was tagged in that comment. It's like, oh, hey, you're following this post. Here's all the different things that people are saying in the posts. And someone mentioned gender fluid, and I got confused. Like, I've never heard that before. What's gender fluid? And someone explained it, and I'm like, oh. And I wasn't confused about my gender identification. apologies again. I was confused about my gender identification at the time, but then I saw that and I'm like, huh, that is me. I like that. That resonates with my soul, my identification. So I sort of just in a day found out who I was. Although it wasn't until very recently that I fully started to like accept that. Like at least the pansexual part. I'm still struggling with the gender fluid, but that's just because I don't look like a woman ever. I grow facial hair and stuff, and that I can never feel right when I don't look that, because sometimes I just want to look, for lack of a better word, beautiful. And I never really look. Sorry that my camera's tilted, by the way. Everything's. That's gonna bother me now. But whatever. So I'm still struggling with that, but recently I sort of became more comfortable with who I am as with my sexuality even more. I didn't know I wasn't as comfortable with it. Then I joined some discords, and one of them was just really accepting. One of them was involving a ship. We'll just go with that, a ship of two characters, and I really like that ship. It is a male and a female character, but I find both characters attractive. That's not the point. It's neither here nor there. I sort of seeing other people talk about those characters in a way that I've never seen before, like from other people. It's like I feel more comfortable with who I am now. And then the wholesomeness of the other Discord, it's like this is a beautiful, accepting thing, and I feel better about myself. Sorry, I'm like messaging a very special person to me. And it's they're part of who helps me feel comfortable. Because I didn't realize I have a preference for guys until this person helped me realize. And they showed me comics. They showed me a comic of guys of like guys dating, and sorry, like they showed me a comic of guys dating, and I really liked it a lot. So I started like I kind of like the idea of guys more than girls. Don't get me wrong, I still like females and everything else, but I kind of like I have a preference for guys. So I'm sort of like still figuring myself out, but I do know how I identify. And it's interesting to think about way back when same sex marriage was first legalized. I believed I would be married to a woman, and so I was obviously I celebrated it, but I felt like I thought it didn't affect me. I thought like, oh, that's awesome, even if it doesn't affect me. Here we are, just about 6 years later, and I'm like, oh wow. Thinking about it, like I went through a process because that year began a process leading me to where I am now with my sexuality, and I feel good and open. And I figured this is a good month to talk about all this because it's Pride Month. Sorry, I'm still messaging that person. But now, here I am. Okay, I sort of jumped thoughts. But back then, I thought I was going to marry a woman. And now here I am, ready to marry a man. A very special man in my life. Uh, yeah. When when the whole it just I thought it was an interesting fact that when it was first yeah, I already said that, but like it's just interesting to me. Like I've changed since then. I've evolved since then, and I've learned, and I feel better. Um, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. This is my personal experience with coming to grips with who I was. I will say, the reason the whole gender fluid thing kind of hit me was because as a child of like around 5, 6, or 7, like around those ages, before school, I would always. It's gonna sound weird. Don't judge, but I would always go under covers and pretend like I was being transformed into a woman, or at least a girl, and I don't know. I liked pretending I was a girl sometimes. And now here I am, not just pretending. That's how I identify sometimes. Or, I don't know, maybe all the time, but I also identify as a guy. It's very confusing. I'm confused about my own gender identification. For the most part. For the most part, I kind of understand it, but I'm also confused. I know I'm gender fluid, but I'm also struggling. Maybe if I was able to express my more feminine side, I would be able to what's the word I'm looking for? I'd be able to be more comfortable with it, but right now I can't express that. And it's just because I don't have like the makeup or anything. You know, I have an accepting family. I live with people who accept me. It's just I don't have the stuff to outwardly express myself. So I get a little, I guess dysphoric is the right word. I feel bothered by the fact that I can't outwardly show what I feel on the inside. Does that make sense? I'm asking as if you're going to answer right away. um, but yeah, I do feel comfortable with my sexual identification, my sexuality though. I feel very comfortable with that. So, I don't know, do you have any stories that you feel comfortable with sharing in the comments below? I wanted to do this video just because I felt like expressing myself. I'm glad I could, like, I'm sorry again about this. I'm glad that that I have a platform to talk about all this. I'm glad that I decided to do this video. I don't know. I'm glad things are getting more accepting, though I really can't wait for things to get better. Everything being said, I think I've said my piece about how I identify. Everything being said, happy Pride Month. everyone. Sorry, it's that special man in my life. Um, Happy Pride Month, everyone. You are all completely valid, just the way you are. You know, however you identify. Thank you for watching this and listening to my story about being who I am and discovering myself. I haven't really. I only been thinking about this for like a few hours, I guess, but like. I just wanted to get that out there for the world. Because I feel like it's an important message to send to people. So yeah. Thanks and happy Pride Month. And why not? Let's go out with the Kingdom Hearts quote, which I feel is always good to keep in your daily life. May your heart be your guiding key. Good night.